Long time no see, my darling batlings. So glad to be joining you tonight. I have been off because, as I found out from my doctor, I am very anemic. So that explains why I've been so fucking exhausted lately. But, I've been, treating myself for it. I'm starting to feel better. So I figured why not use this opportunity to do a little stream. It's been long enough that, I owe you guys one. I'm joined tonight by JKR.
Have you ever heard the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise?
I don't know, have you heard that, in terms of male human and female Pokemon breeding, Vaporeon is the most compatible with humans? Got him! It's like I never left.
Oh, God.
So yeah, it's been kind of a dull time for me since I haven't been able to stream because I've been too tired. It's a mix of sleeping, feeling like I want to sleep, and almost poisoning myself again on accident.
Oof.
Yeah, pro tip, if your cheese smells like alcohol, it's time to throw it out, even if the expiration date hasn't hit yet.
Right?
Especially if it's mozzarella cheese, which isn't really supposed to have a smell.
Huh. That's weird.
I think there might be something up with my fridge. Because, it was dry and it smelled like rubbing alcohol.
Ay, ay, ay. Is it like your fridge, or is it just something that came with the place?
It came with the place.
Ah.
We got maintenance guys here that, check to make sure that things are working and fix things if they're not. So, luckily I shouldn't have to, hire someone to check it out.
Oh, that's good.
One of the benefits of living here.
Nice.
And, with all that out of the way, I owe you guys, and have owed you for a long time, a proper, playthrough of Metal Gear Solid 3. But what kept pushing it back was that my PS2 stopped reading discs, and then it stopped reading the, external drive that I used as a backup. So I've got a different PS2 now that reads discs, for now. That's the beauty of, disc-based consoles. They all eventually just crap out.
Yeah.
Now you may be wondering, why don't I just play the HD version? Answer, because I don't feel like hooking up my PS3 and going through the rigmarole of getting that into my capture card. It's a pain in the ass.
That's a good answer.
Alright, so without further mountain ado, let us proceed into Metal Gear Solid 3. After we stop the music. As much as I like This Machine by Julian K. I think it's Julian K that did that. It's something K.
Yeah, I think that's them.
I get Julian K confused with Reliant K a lot.
Hmm.
Fun fact, the Sonic series was my introduction to industrial metal.
Nice.
Out of all the ways you could have been introduced to it, it was through fucking Sonic Heroes and Shadow the Hedgehog. Yes, I know you're gonna say that I don't have a memory card plugged in, but you're gonna work just fine later. That's how it always goes with this, third-party memory card for some reason.
Aye.
And I'm playing off an actual PS2, just for authenticity's sake. And also because, the PS2 version has some extra content that was taken out of the HD remaster. So it's one of those rare cases where there's actually benefit to playing it on its original intended hardware.
Nice.
And also, because there's multiple releases of Metal Gear Solid 3, this is Subsistence, which adds additional content and comes with a bonus disc.
Nice.
As well as adding third-person camera controls, because if you were playing on the original Snake Eater release, like I did, my first time playing through, you don't get to control the camera. It's always top-down, like in Metal Gear Solid 1 and 2.
Aye.
Why am I going to load? I should be starting a new game. What's wrong with me? Answer, a lot of things.
A lot, actually.
Alright. So, whenever you start a new game on Metal Gear Solid 3, specifically on Subsistence, because it adds Metal Gear Solid 3 as an option to choose, you're asked, you're asked to pick one of these. And, depending on which one you pick, you get a different starting bonus. I always go with Metal Gear Solid 3 because it slows down your stamina depletion. And stamina is a huge mechanic in this game. Stamina is basically like how hungry you are. The more hungry you are...
Ah, we got Ethereal Curse. Nice.
Ethereal Curse, welcome! And for some reason, the bonk didn't play.
World War II, the world was split.
Or at least if it did, I didn't hear it.
And West.
I didn't hear it either.
This
Hang
marked
on.
the beginning of the era called the Cold War.
I'm gonna play the bonk myself and see if, let's see.
You did hear it. Okay, so that's what matters.
Alright, at least you can hear it.
Let's see. Ah, I see. It's because I had it on monitor. That's why. There we go. Now I should be able to hear it. JKR won't be able to hear it, but that's not what... Ultimately, that doesn't matter very much.
Flying over Pakistan, altitude 30,000 feet.
Approaching Soviet airspace.
It was a problem on my end, don't worry.
20 minutes to drop off.
But you can still test it out to make sure that I can hear shit, because I've also got new headphones.
Ah, okay.
This will also let me know if the alerts are too loud.
Pressure mass. Cap okay.
Hello there.
Good. We've got high visibility.
No, I didn't hear that either.
Let's see. Did you hear that?
No.
Put out that cigar. Connecting oxygen hose to interior connector.
Fuck.
Put on your mask. Does this panty waste know what he's doing?
Approaching release.
Let me ask you this. Why does a flamingo lift up one leg?
Are you deaf?
He said,
Why
put on
come?
the cigar and put on your mask.
Because if it lifted up both legs, it would fall over.
Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba.
Depressurization complete. Checking oxygen supply. 6 minutes to drop off. Opening rear hatch.
Okay, try now.
Okay.
We're not missing much here, just the world's first Halo jump.
No!
There we go! Okay, that... Yeah, I can hear shit now.
6 degrees Celsius. 2 minutes to drop off. Stand up. You'll be falling at 130 miles per hour. Try not to get frostbite from the wind chill. 1 minute to drop off. Move to the rear. Activate bailout bottle.
This is one for the...
It's no fun if I can't hear the sound alerts. There we go. But yeah, everything's working now.
10 seconds to drop off. Stand by. Status okay. All green. Prepare for drop off. Countdown.
Now, JKR, I'm going to assume that you're not all that familiar with Metal Gear Solid 3, correct?
Spread your wings.
That's correct.
Fly. God be with you.
Yeah, I figured. Okay, so Metal Gear Solid 1, Metal Gear Solid 2 takes place, a few years later. Metal Gear Solid 3 is a prequel that takes place in 1964. And instead of following Solid Snake, because he hadn't been born yet, it follows Big Boss. Or at least the events that made him Big Boss.
Jack, I've got some important news. The head of the CIA has finally given us the green light for the virtuous mission.
Virtual mission?
No, the virtuous mission. The future of our Fox unit...
Also, I had to stream this because of the announcement that we're getting a Metal Gear Solid 3 remake, and that the original voice actors are coming back for it.
Don't
Nice.
get cocky, this isn't a training op.
I'm cautiously optimistic about a Metal Gear Solid 3 remake, because Metal Gear Solid 3 is one of my favorite games of all time, so it's very easy for me to be disappointed in it.
Yeah.
But it's being developed internally at Konami, which is a first for them in years. Because, like, their usual practice nowadays is to outsource it to outside developers.
Sokolov. Isn't he that famous rocket scientist?
Like, what they're doing with the Silent Hill 2 remake is they're outsourcing that game's development to Bloober Team, who are absolutely going to fuck it up. Whereas Metal Gear Solid 3 is being developed at Konami.
Well spoken. The rocket that carried you...
Just remember not to use a shotgun in a range fight. Hey,
Vostok rocket.
I can't remember whether I've done that before or not. I feel like that's a Dark Side Phil reference, especially because he's been getting more attention lately, and Low Tier God's been getting more attention because he got banned on Twitch again.
Become the head of the newly established design bureau.
Everything comes back to Dark Side Phil playing Metal Gear.
Head of a design bureau. That's quite a success story. So why do you want to defect?
It seems he'd become afraid of his own creations.
It's like how in Metal Gear everything goes back to the events of Metal Gear Solid 3, except in my life everything goes back to me making fun of Dark Side Phil on a live stream.
We used a mole to get the family out first, and succeeded in sneaking Sokolov over the Berlin Wall shortly afterwards. I was the one who conducted the operation.
The security on the eastern side was still full of holes back then.
Now, as like a little recap, because I've been doing an absolutely shitty job and talking over all this important dialogue, the virtuous mission that we're embarking on is a mission to rescue a captured Soviet scientist from enemy lines. Rocket scientist, I should say. Because the Soviets want him to work on new nuclear weapons.
Missile crisis.
October the 16th, 1962, President Kennedy received word that the Soviets were in the process of deploying intermediate range...
Yes, Ethereal Curse, what is it?
The President demanded that the Soviets dismantle and remove the missiles. At the same time, he announced a naval blockade to prevent further missile shipments from reaching Cuba. But the Soviets didn't back down, instead placing their armed forces on...
Do I have Discord? Yes, that's how I'm doing this call right now, my dude. If you go to my bio on Twitter, you can find a link to my Discord.
Security Council and unofficial channels to end the hair-trigger standoff. Finally, on October the 28th, the Soviet Union agreed to remove its missiles from Cuba, and so the world avoided a nuclear holocaust. But in order to get the Soviets to pull their missiles out, we had to make a deal.
You mean the one
Or you could just do that, yeah.
move its IRB
If the bot wants to cooperate, because the bot seems to not want to work right now.
Deployed in Turkey were
Ay, ay,
obsolete,
ay.
and we were going to get rid of them anyway. They had no strategic
What the
value
fuck?
whatsoever to either the US or the Russians. The Turkey
Hey,
deal
it's
was
like
a
it's
ruse,
like
a cover story that was fed to the other
perfect time to play the Arikado drinking game I posted the rules for last night. If something doesn't work, that's a new rule. If something doesn't work, if a command doesn't work, take a drink. That's a new rule.
That's right.
I had to add an addendum to that rule list last night because it couldn't all fit in one tweet, which is finish your drink if I disconnect from stream. Check my Twitter. You'll see a link tree on there, and that'll have a link to my Discord.
President Kennedy gave in to Khrushchev's demand. The next day, I got Sokolov out of the hospital,
Because, like, you know, you can only put so much in your Twitter bio.
Sokolov kept on screaming, "Save me," until he disappeared from my sight. Then a month ago, we received some new information from one of our moles.
About Sokolov?
Yes. He was taken back to the research facility and forced to continue working on the weapon in question under KGB supervision. What's more, it's on the verge of completion.
So what kind of weapon is it? Something to do with space rockets?
No, missiles.
Same technology.
I guess you're right. We don't know the details, but it appears to be a new kind of nuclear device. For half a year now, the Soviets have been conducting frequent nuclear tests at Semipalatinsk.
Something to do with the weapon, I assume.
Oh boy, I forgot how many Russian terms are in this game that I'm going to horribly butcher the names of. Like, mainly, like, the names of all the different locations you visit are all different Russian things. And I have no idea how to pronounce Russian words.
3 miles to the west, it's known as the
Like, all I know is, vodka and, suka blet.
Nice name for a virtuous mission.
They moved him there just recently.
Why?
Apparently, they're conducting a field test of the weapon, but it's our best chance to get him back. This mission would never have been possible if he was still in the research facility. This is our last chance. Sokolov must have known that too when he contacted us.
Capcom Showcase is coming to Summer Games Fest. I mean, unless they pull a surprise Mega Man announcement out of their ass at the Capcom Showcase, I really don't have anything to look forward to at that. Because, like, all I was looking forward to from Capcom this year that has been announced is, the Battle Network Legacy Collection and, Resident Evil 4 Remake, and those are both out. So, like, I don't care about Street Fighter, I've never played Dragon's Dogma, I've never played Monster Hunter, so, like...
Get Sokolov back before that weapon is complete, we'll be facing a major crisis. The clock is...
You know, people keep on telling me to get hyped for Exoprimal, but I'm like, Capcom can't even get hyped for Exoprimal. That doesn't really sell it to me.
Once we've confirmed the rescue, Sokolov, stand by at the recovery point. A recovery balloon will be dropped at that point. Helium will be pumped into the balloon to inflate it. The process takes about 20 minutes.
Like, genuinely the only two things that could, get me excited at the Capcom Showcase right now are either a brand new Mega Man game, or, or an announcement of what the fuck is going on with Deep Down.
The shock will be less than during a parachute jump, and the arm can handle up to 500 pounds.
Because, like, I don't care about Deep Down as a game itself. I care about it as an example of a game that's never come out but never been cancelled.
20mm Vulcan cannons, as well as 2 40mm machine guns.
Sounds like she could hold her own against a battalion of tanks.
Even with the fuel in the reserve tank, we're facing a 4-hour time limit. If all goes well, it shouldn't take more than a few hours.
Home in time for dinner.
But if anything goes...
The closest I've come to playing Monster Hunter is, the Monster Hunter missions in Peace Walker. Otherwise, I've never played a Monster Hunter game, even though I own one. I've just never, played it. Alright, we're finally in the I guess you could call this the beautiful jungles of Mother Russia. Does Russia have jungles? Actually, now that I think about it, a lot of stuff in, a lot of the animals in, this jungle are from India, so it's implied that this could be like an occupied territory on the, India-Russia border. I'm no geographist. There he is, the man, the myth, the legend, Big Boss.
Do you copy? You're already in enemy territory, and somebody might be listening in. From here on out, we'll be using code names to refer to each other. Your code name for this
The C word in my server, it depends on whether you mean the C word that could get me banned, or the C word that Americans take too seriously, but the Brits use the Brits and especially the Australians use liberally.
I'm glad to hear that.
I don't know if I'd ever order one in a restaurant, but...
Be careful, you might not have a choice.
What about you, Major? What should I call you?
Let's see. I'll be...
Oh yeah, you can use that word. I don't have any rules against like naughty words as long as they're not slurs.
No trace of your presence. Is that clear?
At least in my server. Twitch is obviously different.
In other words, weapons and equipment are procure on site. That goes for food as well. You're completely naked, just as your name implies.
Great. Now I see why you asked me if I like snakes. I suppose calling me Snake was your idea of a joke, too.
No. There's a good reason for that. I'll tell you later when the time is right.
Gotcha. Getting back to the subject, how exactly am I supposed to feed myself?
You've been issued a knife and a tranquilizer gun. Use them to hunt for food. You'll also
Yes, in a revolutionary concept for the time, you have to eat in order to survive.
I lost it in a tree on the way down.
And that involves finding animals, fruit, enemy rations, just anything you can find that's edible, capturing it, and eating
No
it.
problem. I can see it from here. It's stuck on the edge.
You have a stamina meter that decreases the longer you go without eating, and eating restores your stamina meter. When your stamina gets low, you start moving more sluggishly, your aim gets worse, you heal from wounds less quickly, and your stomach starts growling, which can set off, which can alert enemy guards. So there's an incentive to keep your stamina up at all times. So first mission on the Virtuous mission. Retrieve your backpack that got stuck in a tree. And we start out with only a knife, and we're supposed to start with a tranquilizer gun, but it's in the backpack. So we only have a knife and a single calorie mate. Which I've had calorie mate before, it's pretty good. I've had the chocolate flavor specifically. Stabby, stabby. Alright, we've got our very first piece of food, which is a mushroom. Insert joke about Mario here, because this has been quite a year for Mario. And we got our second piece of food, which is a snake. There's lots of different kinds of snakes in this game. It's not called Snake Eater for nothing. And you may notice, in a departure from Metal Gear Solid tradition, we have no radar.
No radar?
No radar to show us where enemies are on the map. That's because this takes place in the 60s, so that tech doesn't exist yet.
Oh, okay, that makes
What
sense.
you get instead is, now that we have our backpack, we get a sonar, which we can use to detect nearby moving objects by sending out a pulse, but we have to do that manually. We get an anti-personnel sensor that makes the controller vibrate when enemies are near. And we get a motion detector that's active at all times, but all of these run on batteries. So you can't just keep them out at all times.
Just do the same thing from item.
Got it. Use the survival viewer backpack.
Yep, that's right. Survival is fundamental to this mission. After you've been out in the field for a while, your stamina will start to drop. If your stamina gets too low, it'll affect your performance. You won't be able to shoot accurately, for example.
I hear that they have medicine to help you with your performance if you don't quite have enough stamina.
To recover lost stamina,
Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba.
flora and fauna.
I blame Catechris for introducing me to that Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 ad where the guy's like, everybody's doing it.
It's been fitted with its own suppressor.
Just fucking 2 minutes straight of innuendos all about Call of Duty.
Its durability reaches zero, the noise
Some people, when they do it for the first time, they don't last too long.
durability is shown in the icon. Any weapons and equipment beyond what you're carrying now, you'll have to find as you
Some people have steady aim when they do it. Some people just spray it everywhere when they do it.
Covert actions are standard Fox operating procedure. You can't leave any traces of your presence. No weapons, equipment, footprints, sweat, or bodily waste. The same goes for bullets and cartridges, too.
Remember, guys, canonically, Naked Snake here carries his shit with him whenever he's on a mission, because he can't leave behind anything that can alert enemies to his presence.
Oh, shit.
Like that standard oh shit, indeed. Like that actually was standard operating procedure for spies in the Cold War era. But, like, it explains, like, how does he go to the bathroom? You never see him do it in the game, but it explains, like, where does he poop?
SIS guidelines stipulate that soldiers on covert ops like this one be issued a potassium.
Oh, and you also get a cyanide capsule, so you can pretend to be dead if you're captured.
Use it if you're taken prisoner by the enemy. It'll send you into a state of false death for a short time.
Fooling them into thinking that I'm really dead. So, how do I come back to life?
Just take the revival pill.
You mean that thing they put in my tooth before the mission?
That's the one. But be careful. If you remain in a state of false death for too long, nothing will be able to bring you back. Remember that.
I'll keep it in mind. You said this was a solo mission, right?
Right.
I guess that means I can't count on any reinforcements.
Correct. The mission rests entirely in your hands.
A real
So keep in mind going into this that this is not Big Boss at this point. He's still, like, basically he's just out of the Green Berets. So, like, he's been trained by the boss, who was, like, basically the inventor of American counterintelligence and, like, covert ops stuff in World War II, who's introduced right here. Oh, wait, no, that's Paramedic. I'm forgetting stuff. I love Paramedic. She's so fun. But the boss is a central figure in this story in the overarching narrative of Metal Gear Solid.
For short. You're a regular Captain Nemo.
She was the mentor for Naked Snake, who went on to become Big Boss.
What's your name?
Jane Doe.
Very funny.
I wasn't joking, but I'll tell you my name only if you manage to make it back alive. My frequency is 145.73.
Okay, so, like, this is not a spoiler, but it's a plot point that got lost in translation due to wrong use of gendered pronouns in Metal Gear Solid script.
The state of your health.
Paramedic here is supposed to later become the Dr. Clark that created the Genome Soldier project for Metal Gear Solid 1 and was killed by Gray Fox. But they said he, in the English translation of that script, instead of using gender-neutral pronouns like the Japanese script did. So, if you just pay attention to the English canon, it sounds like a retcon of Paramedic, of, like, Dr. Clark being a woman.
Oh.
Also, does the boss's voice sound familiar to you here?
It's been 5 years, 72 days, and 18
It should, but I can't place it.
You've lost weight.
You can tell
That's Pearl from SpongeBob.
Of course
Oh,
I
jeez.
can. I know all
Yeah.
about you.
Two biggest roles that she's known for are Pearl from SpongeBob and the boss from Metal Gear Solid.
Why did you
Oh, wow.
disappear on me all of a sudden.
It's like how the two biggest roles that I can't remember her name, but Ashley from the original Resident Evil 4 are Ashley from the original Resident Evil 4 and Cindy from Jimmy Neutron.
Everything you needed to know
Oh,
about
wow.
fighting techniques. I taught you all I could. The rest you needed to learn on your own.
Techniques, sure. But what about how to think like a soldier?
How to think like a soldier? I can't teach you that. A soldier needs to be strong in spirit, body, and technique. And the only thing you can learn from someone else is technique. In fact, technique doesn't even matter.
I mean, like, if you want to go into other dubs and other projects that Metal Gear voice actors have been in,
teach you how to think.
you obviously know from getting that dude's autograph for me that Rob Paulson voiced Gray Fox in The Twin Snakes. I bet that was shocking for you to learn.
Yeah.
Fucking Pinky, Yakko Warner, Gray Fox.
Right.
And Gray Fox in the original version of Metal Gear Solid 1 was Greg Eagles, who is Grim from The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy, and the current voice of Aku Aku from Crash.
I already
Nice.
told you, Jack. I was on a top secret mission.
And as far as this game's cast goes, I can't remember too much else, other than the fact that we still don't know who voiced Eva, because she's credited under a pseudonym and nobody has spoken up, to my knowledge, about who played her.
Not quite a soldier. A soldier is a political tool, nothing more. That's doubly true if he's
Well, Kaz doesn't appear in this game, but yeah, Kaz is Travis Touchdown from No More Heroes. He's also the medic from Team Fortress 2.
That's what being a soldier is.
I do whatever I have to.
And he was Moon Knight in Spider-Man Web of Shadows.
That's
Nice.
not the same thing. Sooner or later, your conscience is going to bother you. In the end, you have to choose whether you're going to live as a soldier or just another man with a gun. There's a saying in the Orient, loyalty to the end. Do you know what it means?
Being patriotic.
Oh, and when we get to Metal Gear Solid 4, get used to hearing a lot of Fred Tatasciore.
The president and the top brass.
Nice.
I'm ready to die.
Because the enemy unit in that game, the B&B Corps, their beast forms are all like double voices between their primary voice actresses and Fred Tatasciore.
Who's in charge?
Nice.
People aren't the ones who dictate the missions.
Then who does?
The times. People's values change over time, and so do the leaders of a country. So there's no such thing as an enemy in absolute terms. The enemies we fight are only enemies in relative terms, constantly changing with the times.
Speaking of stuff Fred Tatasciore was in, did you hear that an alpha build of Fall of Cybertron was recently found?
Even in those we love.
No, I did not get
And
that.
that's the way a soldier
Yeah,
should
it shows like some
The only thing we can
cut
believe in with
battles,
is
primarily
the-
focusing on Grimlock. Grimlock had an entirely different voice actor in this build.
call me Snake.
Oh, wow.
Snake.
Instead of
Your code name is Snake.
instead of Greg Berger, it was Fred Tatasciore.
That's right. The legendary
Nice.
unit that the boss put together during World War II.
And another thing that I saw that was different in that build was that Grimlock was supposed to have a battle against a giant Insecticon.
You'll be fine. Isn't that right, Snake?
Yeah. I can't think of anyone else I'd rather have with me. Oh, and one more thing, boss.
Yes,
It's good to hear your voice again.
same here. After all, who knows if either of us will make it out alive? Snake, you are always best at urban warfare and infiltrating buildings. But this is the jungle. Survival is going to be key. Those CQC techniques I taught you are sure to come in handy.
CQC. Close quarters combat.
Alright, this is another key mechanic that debuts in this game, CQC, which is
Not to worry.
basically expanded
I'll
melee
help you
attacks.
remember.
This game has a pretty clunky implementation of it, due to it solely relying on the fact that the PS2 controller had pressure-sensitive
Boss is
buttons.
communicating with us by radio. Order permit class
Later
submarine
games
unit
would
closure.
change
My
this
frequency
from,
is
like,
141.80.
being pressure-based
Call me if
to
you need
context-sensitive.
advice on battle techniques.
Gotcha.
Your mission is to retrieve Dr. Sokolov. Dr. Sokolov is being held in an abandoned factory located to the north of your current position. Avoid heavy combat and don't let anyone see you. Don't forget that this is a stealth mission.
Snake, try to remember some of the basics of CQC.
The basics of CQC. Knife. Gun. Knife gun. That's it. That's all CQC is. It's the ability to do melee attacks while holding a gun.
Oh, jeez.
Like, it's genuinely like a really in-depth mechanic in this game, but I will always remember the High on Daisy parody comics summarizing it as a knife, gun, commencing virtuous mission. Oh yeah, I just remembered, speaking of going back to like Metal Gear Solid voice actors that have been in other stuff. How could I forget that the great Liquid Snake is Leonardo from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
Which
the 80s series.
Oh, okay.
So that makes two. Technically, that means that two Ninja Turtles were in that game. Rob Paulson.
Oh, yeah.
In the Twin Snakes, at least.
Yeah.
Alright. Mechanic here that's really important. This game has a lot of mechanics to it. Camouflage. You have to make sure you've got the appropriate camo for every situation. The higher your camo index is, the more you blend into the environment. This is also coupled with, like, what stance you're in and whether you're standing still or moving. So that percentage you see at the top that goes up and down is how well we're blending into the environment.
Nice.
And you get a whole bunch of different kinds of camo throughout the game. The Subsistence release actually includes some extra camo that was originally DLC, and then in the European version was included on disc, and then backported over to North America in Subsistence, which is what we're playing.
Major,
Nice.
I've spotted 2 enemy soldiers.
They're probably KGB troops sent to guard Sokolov.
Okay, so you see how that one soldier's got, like, the blinking red light on him?
And grenades.
Yeah.
He's the radio soldier. If you kill him, or if you shoot out the radio on his chest, he can't call for backup.
Your presence in
Nice.
Soviet territory is already a violation of international law. You can't
But keep in mind, this is not like Metal Gear Solid 1. You have to hide bodies if you kill
Contact
people.
with the enemy is strictly prohibited. Don't engage them in battle.
Also, because this is built on 60s tech, you get silencers, but they break over time.
The point of this
Ooh.
mission is to sneak through the jungle without being seen. The success of the mission depends on how well you use your
I think it's pretty fair to say that, like, in terms of stealth mechanics, Metal Gear Solid 3 is the hardest of the series. Just because you have so few, you're limited by tech of the era, as opposed to, like, Metal Gear Solid 1 and 2 having, like, near-future fantasy sci-fi tech.
That moves will stand out in the jungle. If you just stand up and run around like an idiot, you're
And same thing with Metal Gear Solid 4. Metal Gear Solid 5 kind of finds a balance by not giving you a whole bunch of, like, ridiculous sci-fi tech, but also like giving you a lot more weapons.
The camo index shows how well your current camouflage
And the ability to call in backup.
area. The higher the value, the harder you are to spot, and vice versa. The key is to make yourself
Also, like in Metal Gear Solid 2 as well. Yeah, but in Metal Gear Solid 2, radio soldiers were not, like, as clearly defined as they are here, because all the soldiers use the same couple of models. Radio soldiers in this game have very distinctive uniforms. Which I feel is, as someone who's taken game design classes, I feel like that's a little bit better in terms of art direction. Alright, let's equip our motion detector. Oh, almost walked right into him.
I'll be right back. I'm going to get some water.
Alright. Boom. Headshot. Although it was a trank round, so does that really count? Oh, you mean as in hiding the body? Yeah. Metal Gear Solid 2 gave you better places to hide bodies. Metal Gear Solid 3, most of the time you're out in the open. So you don't get a lot of like lockers or being able to drop them off of bridges. Like you do in Metal Gear Solid 3. Or Metal Gear Solid 2. Metal Gear Solid 3, it's like you just gotta make do. God, it's been so long since I played the launch version, the vanilla version of Metal Gear Solid 3, that I can't imagine playing this game without camera control anymore. Pressure-sensitive buttons or some... Welcome back. Shadow Dragon, nice to see you. How things been going for you? I've been off of streams for a while because I've been dealing with anemia. But I'm doing better. Taking some supplements to build up the iron and B12 in my blood. So I can produce better blood without having to drink more blood. Also, fuck, I just remembered something that I created specially for tonight. But completely forgot to mention. The good doctor has given me synthetic skin for my cybernetic parts. So I have the option of appearing more human. Or organic, I should say, because I'm not human. I'm half vampire, half elf.
Right.
Alright, I love that scene that we just saw, by the way, where, like, Snake sees the soldiers, sees a beehive above them, gives a shit-eating grin. Like, that is a perfect way of displaying character without dialogue. And there's a Kerotan over there. If you shoot all the Kerotans, which I'm not even going to attempt to do, you get a special bonus at the end of the game.
Huh? The enemy! He's here!
Dead?
Huh? I hear
I'm trying to find where the fucking beehive was. It's kind of hard to make out with PS2 graphics.
Yeah.
I'm also trying not to waste too many shots, because that'll wear out my suppressor.
Where'd he go?
Where'd he go? I'm right in front of you, my dude. I only have 20% cam. I only have 20% camo index. I'm not that hard to spot. See, this guy gets it.
I love how this guy just waddling back and forth.
Will you fucking pass out already, my dude?
That's one way to get
Reinforcements taken care of. Up. I can't help but laugh at anytime that like they say send in reinforcements, because like it always makes me think of this gag, this running gag from Homestar Runner, where Homestar Runner has a G.I. Joe parody called Cheat Commandos.
Come in, HQ.
Where, like, it's like 80s G.I. Joe, where it's heavily merchandise-driven.
Yeah.
And, like, anytime that they say send in reinforcements, they bring in a guy whose name is Reinforcements. Aiming is pretty hard in this, not gonna lie, yeah. Especially with, like, a 20-year-old controller where the analog stick's not quite as good as it was when it was new. It's hard to find good quality aftermarket PS2 controllers. Even harder to find good quality OEM ones, because apparently there's 2 different models of the DualShock 2, one of which is more prone to breaking down quickly, one of which is better at standing up to wear and tear. And I've got both. And the only way to differentiate between them is the good one has an A on the back, and the bad one has an H on the back.
There are sentries posted around the perimeter. I wonder how many are inside.
It also doesn't help that there's, like, never really been any good, viable, wireless PS2 controllers that, offer all the features of a DualShock 2. Like, Metal Gear Solid 3 requires pressure-sensitive buttons, so I can't just go with any old, wireless PS2 controller.
You mean there's more?
No, it's just that when you get to Sokolov, I want you to tell him something from me.
And that is?
Sorry for being so late.
Yeah, we talked about the Capcom showcase earlier. Like, I'm sure people are going to like what they show. Me, as someone whose favorite Capcom franchises are Mega Man and Beautiful Joe, I don't really have anything to look forward to. So, like, I'm just not really interested in it. I'm sure it'll be fine. I'm sure we'll get, like, some more good Resident Evil and Monster Hunter and Street Fighter, because that's all we get from Capcom these days.
Right.
As far as new games go. Like, I'm not even saying this is like my old Mega Man anti-Capcom doomer shit, like I used to do during my cringe years on, in, like, 2015. I'm saying this is like, I've accepted that my favorite Capcom franchises are the ones that are most likely to die. And I have come to terms with that. Because, like, it took me until very recently to, get into Resident Evil. I'd never given a shit about Street Fighter. I'm glad to see Monster Hunter get worldwide recognition that's long overdue. But, like, give us some fucking variety, please. You release the same 3 things every year.
Huh? What was that?
Like, apparently there's a new wireless controller out from Retro Fighters that's supposed to be for the PS1, 2, and 3. But I don't know if it has the analog buttons that the DualShock 2 has, and that's make or break for me when it comes to PS2 controllers. specifically because of the Metal Gear games. That's it. They're like the only games that made use of the pressure-sensitive buttons. Nighty-night. In the words of our Lord and Savior Monokuma, nighty-night. Sleep tight. Don't let the bed bugs bite.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to kill that rat, but I'll take it.
HQ. This is HQ. Patrol here. We've lost sight of the enemy. Commence alert formation. Acknowledged. The enemy is still nearby. Pursue and engage him.
Come on, die. Fall! Fall! He fell.
Is he dead or he's just sleeping?
Well, that guy was dead. This guy was sleeping. Okay, I've got to figure out how to do the CQC slam. Because, like, one of my complaints with the CQC system in this game is that if you don't have the manual, like I don't, then you're just kind of shit out of luck. It's not very intuitive.
Yeah.
Come on. Slam! No. I said slam! There we go.
This is HQ.
Okay, I think I'm starting to figure out how the slam works. Alright, so I can come on and slam. Now I just need to figure out how to welcome them to the jam.
He's over there. I see him.
Come on, get the fuck. There we go. Sneaky. Truly, I am like a candle in the wind. The flicker of a candle in the wind, or however the fuck the saying goes. I can't even do my big boss voice tonight because my throat's just so fucked. Because, like, I also found out that my tonsils are getting a bit too large, so I might have to have them removed. And, like, honestly, I felt this going on for a while, and I'm like, okay, so I finally know what the problem is.
Yeah.
What's wrong?
There we go. Keep that guy from waking anyone up. Can't have people waking up on my guard. I'm not even going... What am I saying? You can tell it's been a while since I've streamed. Because, like, my fucking stream of consciousness is just broken.
Yeah.
Okay, we finally got Sokolov. Okay, logistical question here for someone keeping a military prisoner. Why would you keep the scientist with the schematics in the same room as a furnace?
Sokolov,
Where he can burn the schematics?
one of
Right.
those men.
Also, speaking of voice actors you might have heard of and stuff before, here's one that I learned today. The voice actor of Sokolov here. See if he sounds familiar to you.
Your CIA. Yeah. I was sent by Major Zero, the man who got you out 2 years ago. Zero?
He's putting on accent, but he's putting on accent. But I can guarantee you've heard his voice in one other spot before.
Huh.
And you know what that is?
What?
What does it mean?
Coming soon to video and
He's
DVD.
a man of his word.
Wait a second, it's that guy?
Yes!
You'll have to get me out of here before they arrive. Who's they? Colonel Volgin of GRU. You in the West know him as
GRU?
Thunderbolt.
Where are the minions?
GRU. Well, GRU from Minions gets his name from the Russian GRU, which was like
He's a member of the
an
Irish
elite
extremist faction,
army
a man who
unit.
seeks to seize control of the
To
land.
my understanding. I don't know too much about the Soviet Union.
2 years ago,
Um,
Khrushchev has been pursuing a policy of peaceful
I have a North Carolina education. We didn't learn much about the Soviets. We barely learned anything about history to begin with.
so far.
Oh, jeez.
But the failure of his agricultural policies has put him in a precarious position.
Or at least I should say we barely learned anything about history post World War II.
Precisely.
Which, you know, typical for American education, but North Carolina's especially bad at it. Like, we spend half the semester learning about the Civil War, and then, like, a bit on World War II, and then, like, broad strokes about the Cold War had stuff happen in it.
Behind this plot is
Oh, wow.
Colonel Volgin of the GRU. He has control over another secret weapons research facility much like this one, OKB-812, known as the Granin Design Bureau, and is using it to further his plans. But that is not enough.
So this is our game's main antagonist that he's giving us a little prelude to. His name's Colonel Volgin. And he's the leader of an extremist faction of the Soviet military who wants to escalate the Cold War into a full-on nuclear war in order to finally defeat the Americans and the West in general and spread Soviet influence through the rest of the world.
Yeah.
Whereas the, at the time, current for lack of a better term, president of the Soviet Union, Khrushchev, was, trying to avoid nuclear war at all costs, just like the Americans were.
Right.
Even if it meant killing me in the process, or so it would seem. Volgin will come. I'm sure of it. You must get me out of here before then. Leave it to me.
Also, little tidbit that is implied by a single line of dialogue in this series. Here we go, this line right here. We're hearing English, but they're supposed to be speaking in Russian.
From my mentor. Is that so?
It explains, like, we're hearing it translated into English, but in universe, this entire game is spoken in Russian, pretty much.
Oh, wow.
Because it takes place in Russia.
Yeah.
Apparently, it was actually Hideo Kojima's original idea to have all the spoken dialogue be in Russian. But the only voice actor on either dub that was willing to go to the trouble of learning Russian to do that was Akio Otsuka, who is Snake's Japanese voice actor.
Now hurry up and get Silver off to the recovery point. We'll rendezvous with you there.
Roger.
Everyone else was like, no, that is a fucking horrible idea.
There was no other way.
Yeah, right?
But no one will know.
Like, there's a lot of ambitious ideas that Hideo Kojima had for Metal Gear Solid 3 in particular that had to be axed because they were fucking terrible ideas in hindsight. Like one of them, the sniper battle in this game with the end. Like, there's a sniper duel in this game that's played out like a more realistic sniper duel than what Metal Gear Solid 1 had, where, like, the trouble is not so much about trading shots with your opponent, it's about finding your opponent. His original plan for the sniper duel in this game was for it to go on for two real-world weeks. But obviously that was a terrible idea. So instead they made it so if you fast forward the console's clock by 2 weeks, or just, get to that point, save, and then wait 2 weeks to play again, the end dies of old age, and you can skip the boss fight. Which is honestly better, and also an ingenious use of the console's real-time clock. Hideo Kojima had a lot of ideas for Metal Gear Solid 2 and 3 that relied on the PS2 being a lot more powerful than it actually was. He also had some wacky ideas for Metal Gear Solid 4 that would have gotten the game banned from major retailers, like the Beauty and Beast Corps having full frontal nudity when their beast armor is removed.
Oh, jeez.
Oh boy, here he is! Ocelot. Young Revolver Ocelot. Voiced by Josh Keaton, who you might know as Spectacular Spider-Man.
Unit of Spetsnaz.
Noise.
What's a crew soldier doing here? Soldier?
Oh yeah, and because if I am nothing if not a bottomless well of voice actor trivia, I can name one more thing that David Hayter was in that has nothing to do with Konami or Metal Gear Solids or Castlevania. And you know what that is? Lupin III, The Castle of Cagliostro.
Nice.
Sokolov is ours.
He played Lupin.
Now get out of here.
He was the first English voice actor to ever play Lupin.
What?
Nice.
From the Streamline Pictures dub, which I don't know if that's still legally available on modern releases.
Why not?
Because, just like Akira, Streamline Pictures did a dub of it in the 80s, and then it got redubbed for more modern releases with a more accurate script.
Yeah. Right.
Or like how, there's two dubs of My Neighbor Totoro.
Right.
Which I think that was also Streamline Pictures. If I remember correctly. I know that the original dub of My Neighbor Totoro was distributed by Troma, of all people.
I thought it was Fox.
Like the original the original home video release was by Troma. Because Troma didn't do much in terms of theatrical pictures. They mostly did direct-to-video. And this was in an era where major movie studios weren't really doing home video releases at the time. Especially for foreign films.
Yeah.
But, you know, then Disney picked it up and replaced all the voice actors.
Right.
And now, Studio Ghibli films, even the Disney dubs, are being released by a different company called G-Kids. Also, in case you haven't figured out, Revolver Ocelot hasn't gotten his revolvers yet.
Oh, wow.
What is that stance?
Because this is Ocelot when he was still an upstart little punk. The meow, though. Like, fucking... I love Ocelot in this game. He's such a cocky prick.
Yeah.
He is such a show-off, and he gets his ass handed to him so often. Like right here, he's trying to do fancy gunman moves that he's seen in movies. But he's not using the right kind of gun for those moves, so his gun jammed on him.
Major, leave it. Shoot the other one. Whoa!
Basically, Ocelot's personality in this game is he's LARPing as a Wild West gunman before he became a Wild West gunman. Kill him, 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 kill him. I shit you not, the entire series could be avoided if you killed him right here.
Right.
But testing a technique you've only heard about in the middle of battle wasn't very smart. You were asking to have
Even this game knows that the entire series could be avoided if he was killed right here, because you get a game over if you kill him after this cutscene.
Well, that's more of a revolver technique.
And there we go. There's his. That's what gave him his obsession with revolvers.
Lovely. Sheba,
welcome. Glad you could show up. Did you enjoy the stuff that I've been sending you over the past couple days? I mean, I'm not trying to, like... the way I said that made it sound like I was trying to guilt you for not responding. Please don't take it that way. It's just like, I see stuff, and it makes me think, oh, Sheba will like this. Am I gonna show the game over? Hell yeah. Because it just starts you back right here, so it's not like I'd have to go through all that again.
Yeah.
Like, if it was an alternate game over where it would make me replay a big sequence, then no, I wouldn't show it. But in this case, I'm okay with it.
Snake, you alright?
I've run into a few snags. These guys were after Sokolov too. Apparently they were taking orders from a GRU colonel named Volgan.
A GRU colonel?
Part of an internal Soviet power struggle, according to Sokolov. Something between the KGB and GRU. Between Khrushchev's supporters and Volgan's.
Sokolov was being guarded by the KGB and hunted by GRU? Snake, it sounds like this could be even hotter than Cuba.
I don't like it. Something about the whole thing stinks.
I agree. You'd better hurry.
Sokolov ran off by himself, but I'll catch up to him.
We're counting on you.
Yeah, so apparently My Neighbor Totoro was distributed by Troma Entertainment years ago.
Yep. Also, hi, Lulu. Alright, gotta be very careful about this. Come on. I'm out of ammo, so I have to do it this way. There we go. You get a special game over. Ocelot is dead.
You'll create a time paradox.
Yeah, there's special game overs where if stuff happens that causes future events to not happen, you get special game overs where Colonel Campbell pops in one of his only 2 appearances in this game to say you've created a time paradox. His only other appearance in this game, by the way, is in the Ape Escape minigame.
Oh, jeez.
Which was taken out of the HD version for obvious reasons, because you can't have a Sony exclusive franchise on Xbox. And, hey, it's not my fault that I have... Well, actually, yeah, it is my fault that I haven't taken a shower today. I was about to say... meh. You're mean. You're gonna go to detention, because you're being mean.
Totally didn't fall for that, because I can't hear the notification go up.
You okay? Those men were from the Ocelot unit. Spetsnaz? Yes. The best crew has to offer. They're coming for me. I'm finished.
Calm down. I'll get you out of here, I promise. And we've got some of the best backup we could ask.
Look.
There it is. There's our proto Metal Gear for this game. It's not an official Metal Gear, but it's a prototype for what would become the Metal Gear, more or less, called the Shagohod.
The dreading behemoth, a tank capable
Now,
of
it is technically not a Metal Gear, because what a Metal Gear is it's a bipedal walking tank that is equipped with nukes.
A nuclear-equipped tank capable of operating so
But the Shagohod is not bipedal. It needs a runway in order to launch stuff. It has like those it has treads, like a more traditional tank.
This is only the end of phase 1.
But it also has rocket boosters, so it's able to launch ICBMs from basically any position.
Weapon's true form.
But
If it is completed and the Colonel gets his
like the major downside of it, and why we never see another Shagohod after this game, is that because of its design, it requires a runway in order to be effective. And later Metal Gears, which we see the genesis of in this game later on, in a cutscene where a guy discusses like how his idea for the Metal Gear was not adopted by the GRU, ends up becoming like the main thing of the Metal Gear series, is because when they're bipedal, they can go over any terrain and launch from anywhere.
Yeah.
Got it. Let's go.
Also because walking tanks are just a cool idea.
Right?
Like, you've seen what Metal Gears look like. They have some of the coolest fucking designs.
Yeah. Oh my god, I just had an idea.
Yeah?
How badass would it be if the Eggman Empire got their hands on the schematics for a fucking Metal Gear?
He wouldn't just piss on the moon. He'd be able to piss on Mars. His super nuclear piss.
Yes.
Oh, hey, it's the boss. She's not supposed to be here. She's supposed to be at HQ. Lori Allen, that's her voice actress's name. Also Pearl from SpongeBob.
Good work, Jack.
What are you doing here?
Sokolov comes with me.
Get ready for the Linkara quotes, guys. Because you know what's coming? Bees, my god. You thought I was joking! Behold, our enemy commando group for this game, the Cobra unit. I almost forgot their names. And our some kind of bee weapon here is called Deadly Bee Weapon. Bees, my god. That is the Pain, voiced by Greg Berger. So it all comes back to Transformers in these streams whenever JKR's here.
Yes.
Also, fun fact about the Fear, the old man-looking dude here with the hooked nose. That is actually what Raiden was supposed to look like before Kojima got a letter from a fan saying, "Please don't make Raiden an old man."
Welcome back.
And here's our boy, the End. I don't know why his eyes bulge out like that. I don't think it's ever explained. The Cobra unit were the boss's unit back during World War II. They were, like, the best of the best in terms of, like... Aren't they called Hornets? Shh, you're ruining the joke. And, the last member of the Cobra unit here, the Sorrow, who is a ghost, because he died long ago. In this exact spot, actually.
Oh, wow.
Also, yes, they're called Hornets, but, the ones that the Pain shoots at you, and here's Volgan, the ones that the Pain shoots at you as boss fight are called Bullet Bees. So, they go back and forth on whether they're Hornets or Bees.
Ah, what a joyful scene.
Colonel Volgan.
And, like, you can come across nests for Hornets, but they produce honey, which Hornets don't do. So, like, I think it's a case where, like, the production crew didn't quite understand the difference between Hornets and Bees, which, I don't expect them to.
Recoilless nuclear warheads.
Like, I'm not gonna be that pedantic about them getting the taxonomy of Bees and Hornets wrong.
Who is he? Another one of your
I'm not CinemaSins.
Are we taking him with us?
No, this one is still just a child.
And, yeah, since I keep talking over cutscenes like an asshole, the boss is defecting to the Soviet Union and joining Volgan. And giving him recoilless nuclear warheads!
Because why the fuck not?
Please don't break my arm! No.
He's seen my face. We can't let him live.
Also, why Volgan has lightning powers, I don't fucking know. They don't explain it.
If Khrushchev finds out about this, we're finished.
And if you may notice, every time he enters the scene, he says, Kuwabara, Kuwabara. That is an old Japanese superstition where you're supposed to say Kuwabara, Kuwabara to ward off evil spirits and lightning storms. It has something to do with, like, Japanese folklore about, like, mulberry bushes, which is what Kuwabara means, being able to ward off, storms. That's also why Kuwabara from Yu Yu Hakusho is called Kuwabara. You don't need an explanation to be cool. You think that, and then Metal Gear Solid 5, minor spoilers, goes and explains how, like, half of the characters in the Metal Gear series, during the Big Boss timeline, got their ridiculous powers. And is the most underwhelming explanation. Also, right here is how, Snake got his bandana. Or I should say Big Boss Got his bandana. He got it from the boss. Grabbed it off of her as he was falling. Very easy to miss.
The new blood has been rejected.
Hi, Greg Berger.
Are we done here?
Now, on to Sokolov's research facility.
Grimlock shoot hornets!
Shagohod is ours.
Like, the way that they explain, like, in particular, the way that the Pain controls the Hornets is completely retconned in Metal Gear Solid 5 versus how it's presented in the official support material for Metal Gear Solid 3. Like, in Metal Gear Solid 5, they give their own explanation for it that ties into the overall narrative of Metal Gear Solid 5's main story. Whereas in this game, they say that he's just trained his Hornets really, really well, and that he keeps their queen in a pouch. Like, it's the difference between, like, having superpowers and just being really, really good at beekeeping.
Right.
It's like, how did Saitama get so strong? Push-ups, sit-ups, and lots of juice. You misheard me at first and thought I said big balls. I'm not AC/DC, be damned.
Just barely.
Snake, listen to me. You need emergency medical treatment. Can you move?
And here's where it introduces one last primary mechanic, which is when you suffer serious injuries, you have to treat them yourself.
Okay, Snake. Just relax.
Otherwise, you can't recover your full health. It, like, blocks out a section of your health bar if you take a serious injury.
Think you can handle it?
But on the bright side, if you recover from those serious injuries, it increases your maximum health.
He's defected.
We'll talk about that later. First, we've got to get you patched up.
Okay, here we go. First, open the survival viewer with the start button. If you select cure, you can start the treatment.
I knew that Paramedic was going to be my favorite Metal Gear character as soon as I found out she's a fan of Godzilla.
Nice.
Specifically, the original Gojira release of the 1954 Godzilla.
And lacerations on your upper arms, right elbow, and abdomen.
Because, like, I'm a huge Godzilla nut, and Gojira is one of my favorite movies of all time. That and the Godzilla King of the Monsters re-added. They're both good in their own ways. Gojira is obviously, like, superior as a piece of art. But King of the Monsters is still, like, it's still a good enough watch if you don't want to watch something subtitled.
Secure the affected area with a fastener and then wrap it in bandages. That should do it.
Like,
go ahead, sorry.
Like, the thing with Paramedic is, like, you know how in Metal Gear Solid 1, whenever you called Mei Ling, she would tell you, like, bits of philosophy and poetry that were related to the situation. Metal Gear Solid 2, you would call Rose to save your game, and she would, like, bitch at you about April 30th. Metal Gear Solid 3, every time you call Paramedic to save your game, she tells you about one of her favorite movies. And they're all movies that were, like, relatively new at the time that this game takes place, 1964.
Yeah.
Alright, we got cuts to treat. I know a lot of people are split on having to treat your injuries in this game, but, you know, I don't think it's too bad.
Yeah.
None of the injuries are so hard to treat that it takes forever. And I've never had to worry about running out of supplies. Like, it's a pace breaker, but I'm okay with it. I even like it. Oh boy, get ready to see Snake pop his elbow back into place.
Oh no.
Oh, that crunch, and also the fact that the controller vibrates when he does that.
Oh, jeez.
Keep in mind, all of this was just the tutorial.
Oh, jeez.
This entire stream so far has just been the tutorial.
Damn.
Welcome to Metal Gear Solid 3, ladies and gentlemen! And everyone in that beautiful spectrum in between.
Good job, Snake.
We're coming to get you now. Just stay where you are. We'll drop a recovery balloon. Can you set it up?
First use of the Fulton recovery system in the series, and we don't even get to really see it. Well, we kind of get to see it. Fulton recovery would become a more major thing in later Big Boss games. Damn, I missed it. In that segment right there, if you looked over to the left, you could see a corpse there. And that corpse is the corpse of the Sorrow. Because, like I said, he died in this spot.
Yeah.
You know, this may be my fucking, like, Looney Tunes, adult mind, acting right now, but part of me wants to see, like, you know, the Shagohod get airlifted away by 4 support choppers and it get, like, snagged on a tree. Like, god damn it, the Shagohod's tangled in the tree! I mean, the Subsistence re-release PS2 version only does have some parody cutscenes in it that you can unlock by beating the game. I don't know why they were taking out the HD version. And I would love to see they're probably not going to be included in the re-release coming to PS5, but I would love to see them added in a future update. Like, you can watch them on YouTube, but they're only available in pretty low quality right now. And the audio's slightly out of sync on them. Like, honestly, part of the reason that I went out and bought a PS2 copy of Subsistence with my current setup is so I can record those parody cutscenes in HD on original hardware and upload them to YouTube for archival purposes.
Nice.
Also, this lady here is supposed to be Sokolov's wife.
What are we going to do with the girl?
Her name's Tatiana.
Apparently she's Sokolov's woman.
Keep in mind, guys, I know how the story plays out, but this is a spoiler-free zone for JKR in particular.
I'll take her. Not so fast, my dear.
And yeah, Volgan's like, kind of a sussy baka, to put it lightly. When he said, I'll take her, he didn't just mean, like, take her as a captive.
We may be able to use her.
Also, she's got a lipstick gun, which implies that she's a spy.
Shall we take her back to the base?
Perhaps we should. We have no further use for Sokolov's research facility. I think it's time I gave this marvelous new toy a try.
Behold, the first time we ever see a nuke actually successfully launched in Metal Gear. Actually, I think this is the only time we ever see it. What the fuck is that big-ass gun? That is a Davy Crockett, which is a recoilless nuclear rocket. It's basically a mini nuke. Overcompensating much? That you don't know the half of it. Like, Sheba, I know you had your fun making sussy jokes about Metal Gear Solid 1 and 2. Metal Gear Solid 3 has so much homoerotic stuff in it on purpose. Starting with the fact that Volgin is canonically bisexual. And all of that was just the tutorial. Like, Metal Gear Solid 3, it takes a while to really get going. Yeah, almost 2 hours just for the tutorial.
Wow.
It takes a while to get going, but it's never dull, unlike Metal Gear Solid 2.
Right.
Like, Metal Gear Solid 2, not a bad story by any means. It's just that, like, a lot of it's just an intentional retread of Metal Gear Solid 1. And whether that's enjoyable to you is going to vary. Also, because appropriate for the 60s, this game's story is heavily inspired by Bond movies. So what's a Bond-styled movie without a Bond-styled intro? Let's get those lyrics in chat, ladies and gentlemen. I've heard this singer, Cynthia Harrell, in exactly 2 games, and both of them are from Konami. This one, and she also sang the end credits theme for Symphony of the Night.
Nice.
There's actually some Easter eggs you can trigger in this sequence. Like, if you move the analog stick around like I'm doing now, you can make the credits move in different directions.
Oh, nice.
And, yeah, you can, if you click the stick, it changes what language the credits are in between English, Japanese, Korean, and Russian.
Nice.
And you can even turn them into snakes, like here.
Ooh. Oh, nice.
Okay, question for the Bond fans here. What's your number 1 favorite Bond opening? Not counting Goldfinger, because that's too obvious. Like, favorite Bond opening song. Not counting Goldfinger, because everyone says Goldfinger. Mine would have to be Live and Let Die.
Personally, I'm gonna go with a classic, Thunderball.
Oh yeah, Tom Jones. Perfect choice for that. Amazing performance, too, considering that he literally passed out in the booth during that final note.
Oh, wow.
And then Weird Al does his parody of Thunderball for Spy Hard, where he completes it with an overly long last-held note and doesn't pass out in the booth. Hey, PS1, PS2 games count too, because they had their own opening themes. I know, like, my introduction to James Bond was actually the game Everything or Nothing, and that had its own opening theme. I need to get a new copy of that. I have a copy, but it's a European copy, so I can't fucking play it. Now you may be wondering, why did you buy a European copy, knowing that you can't play it on an American... The listing didn't say it was a European copy.
Oh, jeez, of course.
I just bought it on Amazon, and they shipped me a European copy of Everything or Nothing, and I'm like, great, what the fuck am I supposed to do with this?
Drone oil pressure and voltage are nominal. Payload oxygen supply is nominal. Power supply to payload antifreeze system shows no problems. No gusts. All systems go for drone detachment.
Snake, we can't risk a halo jump this time around. Airspace security has gotten tighter since we were last here. We can't get as close to the ground as we did during the Virtuous mission. So instead, we'll be using one of our newest weapons. Snake, you're being given an honor on par with Alan Shepard.
Now that's a reference that's, for the history nuts right there.
You'll be back in a hospital bed again, waiting for the firing squad.
Alan Shepard was, I believe, if I remember correctly,
So how does it
I may be getting my pilots confused. He was either the pilot of the first supersonic plane or
I'll never get better with
the first American in space.
their questions.
must be part of the top brass.
Quantum of Solace intro from what you remember. I haven't played the Quantum of Solace. I haven't even seen the movie. I haven't seen most of the Craig era movies. I only saw Casino Royale and Skyfall. I have a promotional placard from Spectre, but I never saw Spectre. And from what I've heard, I didn't miss out on much from not seeing Spectre.
Jack, it's time for Fox to clear its name.
What are you talking about?
The situation has changed. We've still got a chance to come out of this one alive.
Yeah, what kind of chance?
Don't get too excited. Here, have a cigar. It's Cuban.
Like, if you were to ask me what my favorite Bond movie is, it depends on, like, what you mean by favorite. Like, favorite in terms of telling a good narrative, it would probably be either The Spy Who Loved Me or,
Yesterday, the White House
From Russia with Love.
Unexpected call.
But, favorite in terms of just fun to watch, Moonraker. Dumbest fucking Bond movie out there, but it's so fun.
Hotline call from Khrushchev, President Johnson.
It's like, Star Wars is popular, let's make James Bond in space. Literally, that's the reason that movie exists. Well, technically there was a Moonraker book, but they didn't adapt the story of the book.
At about the same time,
Opening scene is fucking a skydiving fight between James Bond and Jaws that ends with James Bond stealing Jaws' parachute, and then Jaws fucking crash landing into a circus tent while he's flapping his arms trying to slow his descent while fucking Entrance of the Gladiators plays.
no choice.
It is such a fucking stupid movie, but I can't help but love it because it was the first Bond movie I ever saw.
Nice.
And you may be wondering, why would that be the first Bond movie you saw over one of the classics? And it's because it's the one my dad picked out.
To survive this crisis, I must have your.
And it's because of that that I've become a lifelong fan of Roger Moore. May he rest in peace.
Contacted you myself.
Like, Sean Connery's awesome, but I've always preferred Roger Moore. And it's entirely because that's who I was introduced to James Bond with.
Yeah.
So you haven't heard that. The man who arranged the defection was a group.
And also because he was given some of the most cheesy dialogue and managed to make it sound awesome.
Of the Brezhnev faction. Go on. Who is the soldier?
Her name is the Boss. She's a living legend. During
Okay,
World
so,
War
like,
II,
since this is a supposed to be a conversation between President Lyndon B. Johnson and Khrushchev, I have to share this historical fact with you guys that I only found out about because of Last Week Tonight with John Oliver, okay?
and she took two miniature
You can find archival presidential office recordings from the Johnson era of the presidency, where it was like recordings of all the phone calls that Lyndon B. Johnson made.
They were
Those are public records, right?
The Davy Crockett Atomic Battle Group delivered
One of those calls you can find is him making a call to a tailor
were found with the launchers
because he complained that his pants were too tight because they squeezed his massive balls and got all scrunched up in his asshole.
The whole area.
Or bung hole, as he called it.
I can only offer
Like, you can hear the President of the United States complaining that they're too tight around his balls. It's like the stupidest fucking thing to be public record from a presidential administration, but I love it.
Was destroyed by one of his enemies. Am I right so far?
Yes, that's correct.
And the American government denies any involvement in the affair. Is that right as well?
That's correct. We were not involved in any way.
Then what was a U.S. military aircraft doing on our radar screen? It was clearly in a violation of our airspace. And yet you say it was not acting under your orders.
That's correct.
You expect me to believe that this was all the work of a single soldier?
I don't know what else to tell you.
The Army insists that this is all a ploy on your part.
I've said it once, and I'll say it again. Our government had nothing to do with it.
And
I don't like to get into too many topical discussions of modern-day politics on this, but a fun fact is that if there were to be a President Donald J. Trump presidential library that includes, archival stuff from throughout his career leading up to his presidential election, then it could feasibly include his Razzie Award for Worst Supporting Actor in the Bo Derek movie Ghost Can't Do It.
Yes, preferably something painful. Prove to me that this is not merely another one of your tricks.
The boss should be close to Colonel Volgin. How about a little coaction?
I would not expect too much if I were you. The political situation here is unstable. And Colonel Volgin is a member of the Brezhnev faction, which seeks to topple my government. 1 week. You have only 1 week. And if it is not too much to ask, do something about Volgin as well.
What is that supposed to mean?
Nothing. It means nothing. Call it a modest gentleman's agreement.
Okay, so, basically what all of this amounts to. I'm trying to summarize this because I have, really bad ADHD, and I know that some people in my audience do as well. What this amounts to is, in order to clear the U.S.'s innocence from this situation and avoid nuclear war between the U.S. and Russia, the U.S. government has to send one of their own agents to kill the boss.
It will mean the beginning.
So that's Snake's new mission. Kill the boss.
To put it simply, in order to avoid a full-scale nuclear conflict, we have to prove that America was not involved in that explosion.
And eliminating the boss ourselves will prove America's innocence?
Right. The higher-ups have decided that you're the only one capable of pulling this off. You were her last apprentice. Screw this one up, and we'll both be 6 feet under. There's no choice.
Are the Russians going to be helping us?
The KGB has...
I love this feature in Metal Gear Solid 3 where, during certain cutscenes you can press R1 to get a first-person view of what Snake's looking at.
They've also put us in touch with a couple of...
And since he's in this pod right here ready to be launched, you just see the inside of the pod. Do I plan to do Metal Gear Solid 4 after 3? It depends. I'm going to try out a bit of Portable Ops on my own time, because I've never played Portable Ops. If I don't like how Portable Ops plays, because it's so inconsequential to the overall narrative, then I'll skip straight to 4.
Also arranged for him to provide you with an escape route. You'll need to rendezvous with him when you get there.
Control. Unidentified aircraft detected. Altitude 30,000 feet.
But yeah, Metal Gear Solid 4 is going to be a fucking marathon to get through because it's got so goddamn many cutscenes. That's going to be a stream series where most of it's not going to be gameplay, it's going to be cutscenes. I'm not exaggerating in the slightest. The ending of the game, like between the final bit of gameplay and when the game actually ends, is over an hour and a half.
Oh, jeez.
Like, geez, it gets carried away with the amount of cutscenes. I will say that as a longtime Metal Gear fan, Metal Gear Solid 4 has too many cutscenes. You see, Metal Gear Solid 5 has the opposite problem, where it doesn't have enough cutscenes.
Yeah.
Most of its story is just told in audio files.
Mm.
It also commits the cardinal sin of replacing David Hayter with another actor, only to not have him speak for most of the game.
Die.
And for anyone curious, yes, Metal Gear Rising is going to be part of this retrospective.
I got blown pretty far off target.
Snake, let's go over your mission objectives one more time. Rescue Sokolov. Find out what's happened to the Shagohod, then destroy it. And finally, eliminate the boss.
Eliminate the boss.
This mission will be codenamed Operation Snake Eater.
Because I'll be taking on the boss in our Cobra unit, right?
Don't forget about Colonel Volgin.
I'm not a hired killer.
I know, but that was the Kremlin's demand.
Demand? You mean it wasn't just a request? What's it to us if the Khrushchev regime is threatened by the Colonel and his faction?
If supporting the current regime helps us avoid a nuclear exchange, then that's what we'll do.
And what are the CIA's demands?
Our priorities are the rescue of Sokolov and the destruction of the Shagohod.
Roger that, Major Tom.
Hold on, Snake.
What now?
I'm changing my codename. It turns out Tom wasn't the most auspicious choice.
What do you mean?
Well, the truth is, when I chose my codename, I picked the wrong one.
The wrong one?
Did you ever see the movie The Great Escape? It came out last year.
Oh, must have missed that one.
Okay.
Anyway, it's based on a true story
Fuck.
about prisoners who escaped
Fuck.
from a POW camp in
This ties back into old Arikado stream lore from pre-Arikado days.
The prisoners succeed in escaping by using
Okay, he's talking about the movie The Great Escape, which is based on an actual POW escape that happened during World War II, where American soldiers escaped from a Nazi prison camp.
Yes, that's exactly right. At least that was the plan.
One of the three people who escaped from that prison camp went on to direct a movie that I watched on stream for Christmas one year called Santa and the Ice Cream Bunny.
It doesn't sound like the greatest name. So what should I call you?
You forgot about that, didn't you?
I did forget about that, yes.
Major Zero.
You didn't think we were getting Santa and the Ice Cream Bunny lore in the middle of a Metal Gear Solid 3 stream, did you?
Nope.
What if I told you that we were not done with Santa and the Ice Cream Bunny?
Oh no.
There are two versions of that movie.
Oh jeez.
The one we watched was the one that spends most of its runtime on Thumbelina. There is a second, more hard-to-find version that's focused on Jack and the Beanstalk.
Oh jeez.
0.96.
Otherwise, both movies are the same. It's just the movie within the movie that's different between the two releases.
He's an expert on the latest in weapons and equipment technology. You'll be going up against some of the world's most advanced weaponry when you infiltrate the research facility. If you have any questions, just ask him.
I'm just filling you with cursed facts today, aren't I?
Got it.
Adam, your KGB contact, is waiting for you at the abandoned factory up ahead.
The same.
Here's a cursed fact for you guys in the chat. You guys know Vanilla the Rabbit, Cream the Rabbit's mother, who, may I remind you, is the height of an average human mother. Rabbits typically have litters of up to 14 babies at once, usually in litters of about 6 on average. It's very rare for rabbits to give birth to only one baby. Because of that, since Cream is an only child, that implies one of two things. Either A, Vanilla made all of her children fight to the death to decide which one was worthy of living, or B, she ate the rest of her kids, which rabbits also do.
Snake, if you fail this mission, it will mean an all-out nuclear war. Keep that in mind and proceed with extreme caution.
Have fun with that knowledge!
Oh God! I have an idea.
Yeah?
An awful idea.
A horrible, awful idea!
Okay, so basically, real world here. Some friends of mine and I are going up to Six Flags Great America. And one of the things is that one of my friends tells me, oh yeah, we're going to get drive-thru on our way up there because we don't want to pay the outrageous amounts of money that they charge for food. Understandable. Since I'm going to be the one driving, I'm actually going to pull this stunt here. Step 1, go to a drive-thru. Step 2, say, I'm sorry, but I'm blind. Can you read the menu to me? Step 3, see how long they'll read before they realize you can't drive if you're blind.
How will they know that you're the one in the driver's seat? Wait a minute, that's a stupid question. I'm sorry. My brain is fucked today. Also, horse. Horse in the middle of the jungle.
Looks like death wasn't ready for you yet.
Have a good night, Shadow Dragon.
Boss.
That arm still hurt?
What are you doing here?
Go home.
If I had a nickel for every time that the boss disassembled Snake's pistol in a cutscene, I don't know what I'd be able to buy. Probably not much in this economy.
Boss.
Also, because I'm totally gonna forget about this when it actually comes time to fight the boss later in the game. There was a scrapped bit of, like, intended animation for the boss.
There's no need to prove that you are virtuous here.
Like, this isn't a spoiler, it's just more so, like, something that's a character moment for her that doesn't spoil. That's not, like, major to the narrative, it's just, like, a cool moment. Is that she has a scar that's roughly in the shape of a snake from when she had a C-section.
That should stir things up.
In the original design documents for the boss, her snake-shaped scar was supposed to be on her chest, and when she would fire her machine gun like she just did, her boobs would jiggle to make the snake look like it was moving.
Oh, jeez.
But that was cut because it was too goofy, presumably.
I didn't. I'm loyal to the end, to my purpose. What about you, Jack? What's it going to be? Loyalty to your country or loyalty to me? Your country or your old mentor? The mission or your beliefs?
Hey, we're getting an HD remake of this game. They have a chance to put that in with modern physics technology. Which I say that, but this game actually does have some of the most realistic breast physics I've ever seen in a video game. I don't even mean that as, like, horny posting. I'm like, genuinely impressive animation. And the gag is, that's for a character who canonically has implants.
But you can't defeat me either. You know me too well. Just look at that bandana. If you can't put the past behind you, you won't survive long. If we meet again, I'll kill you. Now, go home.
My question is, how did she get the horse into the jungle? Did she have the horse airlifted in?
That's a good question.
Because that is her horse that she would ride into battle.
Ah.
This is Snake. Major Zero.
I read you, Snake.
I was ambushed by the boss.
You were what?
The drone's been shot to hell. It's up in flames.
That's not good. Enemy scouts are going to come looking for you.
Yeah, I know.
Also, you can get that special machine gun that she has by beating the game. It's called the Patriot, and it's actually supposed to be, like, mounted on aircraft, but you're using it handheld, and it has infinite ammo. And if you call Sigint, who is your, like, weapon specialist for this game, you get an explanation for why that gun has infinite ammo. And you know what it is?
What?
That's how it is.
The internal feeding mechanism is shaped like an infinity symbol.
That's not the problem. In terms of sheer technique, I'll never be able
Oh,
to beat
jeez.
Like, this is the goofiest Metal Gear Solid, but it's also the most heartbreaking.
10 years, and now you're telling me she's my enemy?
Enough. Hurry to the factory where Adam is waiting. Scouts have probably already been sent out to investigate the explosion. You've lost your weapon, right?
Also, another reason to love Big Boss as a character, he canonically believes in Santa Claus. So you know he's a good man.
Oh, wow.
There's an optional conversation you can have in Peace Walker, which is like the game in between this game and Metal Gear Solid 5 in terms of the timeline, where he has a conversation about NORAD's Santa Tracker.
What was that just now?
Remember Snake Jiggly on boobies was too goofy for this game? I love this game logic. Yeah. Yeah, welcome to, like, latter era Metal Gear, where Hideo Kojima was just, like, completely, like, mid-era Metal Gear, I should say, where Hideo Kojima was just kind of allowed to do whatever the fuck he wanted, with only a few people reining him in on ideas that were just not technically possible on the hardware. Like, the only things he really didn't get to do were things that the console couldn't handle.
What's this? HQ? HQ.
This is HQ.
You can't see me here. I'm invisible. I'm sneaky, like a snake.
Alert formation.
That's why my name is Snake.
Presenting reinforcements. Use extra caution.
Might as well equip the knife. Just in case someone tries to catch me. And if you're worried about not getting enough Jiggly Booba in this game, just wait until we meet our support contact for, like, our sort of our sidekick slash love interest for this Bond story of a game. Eva. Just got bitten by a snake, so it's time to treat poisoning. Venom poisoning, so I use serum. Simple as that. I don't know why people act like this is such a time waster. But if you don't treat venom poisoning, it will kill you. That's not to be confused with not treating food poisoning, which you can also get by eating rotten food, because food will spoil over time. And also, like, certain food is poisonous. So if you eat it, it'll make you sick. Like, for example, you can catch tarantulas, but you should not eat the tarantulas. Alright, let's scout out what's ahead of us. I can't see shit.
We ain't found shit!
That was a Spaceballs reference, right?
Yes.
I was hoping so. I need to do a watch party of... Oh, your PC just crashed in the middle of drawing? I'm sorry.
Ooh.
That's gotta be frustrating.
That sucks.
We need to do a watch party of silent movies sometime, just for that Marcel Marceau scene.
Control here. The situation is normal.
Understood. Return to your position.
Like, it's called Silent Movie, and just like real silent movies, it's silent, except for one scene involving history's greatest mime, Marcel Marceau, where he performs an elaborate mime act, and then gets asked over the phone if he would like to be in their new silent movie. And Marcel Marceau, the world's greatest mime, like, keep in mind, all the dialogue is told through text boxes, because it's a silent movie. That's how silent movies would do dialogue. Marcel Marceau, his response is a verbally spoken no! And that is the only spoken line of dialogue in the whole movie. I almost got spotted there. I'm sneaky. Like a snake.
Who's that?
Guess your friendly neighborhood snake.
Speaking of friendly neighborhood stuff, now that I've got PS5, I can play Spider-Man Remastered without having to bitch and moan about the performance on PC. Unfortunately, I won't be able to do mods anymore. Hi, Miles. Glad to see you.
Lake Miles.
I mean, to be fair with him, he works long hours.
I know, I'm just messing with him.
Yeah. So yeah, I can do Spider-Man Remastered streams now, but I won't be able to do, like, the wacky mod suits anymore. Because the PC version's just, like, too CPU intensive for my current setup. It just won't work with VTubing stuff. Or at least on my rig. Also, we got our cardboard box! Since this is technically the first game in the Metal Gear canon, this is the first instance of a snake using a cardboard box for stealth. Shiba, if you're still having PC issues, that offer still stands where I could send you my backup PC. Completely free of charge. Well, I would just ask you to pay shipping, because I don't have the funds to pay for shipping myself. I don't want to force it on you, but the offer still stands.
Cut the engine. They'll hear us.
Are you the agent they sent?
And speaking of, earlier when I was talking about how if you aren't getting your booba fix from this game, Shiba, here's going to be our source of booba-related fan service for this game. Eva.
The Patriots. Who are the Patriots? Answer me.
That's supposed to be the code phrase, by the way. He's supposed to say, "Who are the Patriots?" and she's supposed to say, "Lolly Lulelo."
Trapped.
Because he was supposed to meet an agent named Adam, but Adam's not here.
I love how she's shooting gangsta style.
There's actually a lot of hints at, like, plot twist stuff from the very beginning of her introduction. But I won't go into it because that would spoil a lot of stuff. But I will go into it when it becomes relevant. Here she is, Eva. I hope you're watching, Shiva.
The name's Eva.
Snake, I don't blame you. I don't blame you. Nico's mad at you that you made an avatar of his OC into a femboy. Ha! That's funny.
This wasn't part of the plan. What happened to Adam?
What's your code name?
It's Snake.
Snake, huh? Well, I'm Eva. Are you here to tempt me?
Get it? Because Eva is the Latin spelling of Eve. Snake and Eve.
Colonel Volgin is a very suspicious man. He decided Adam wasn't the right person for this mission.
And you were?
Yes.
Why?
Because I can do things he can't.
I heard you used to be a code breaker for the NSA.
I'll say fuck.
I was. 4 years
Later.
ago, I defected
How's military? The broom handle.
It packs quite a punch. Nice to have when you're on a bike.
You held it sideways and used the muzzle jump to create a horizontal sweep. That was impressive.
Bet you've never seen that technique in the West.
It's imitation, isn't it?
Yeah. It's a Chinese Type 17 pistol. Around here, even that's hard to come by. Don't worry, though. The one I've got for you is American-made.
Okay, I love this bit right here, where Snake just fucking fangasms over the craftsmanship of this pistol.
Incredible.
Do you like it?
The feeding ramp is polished to a mirror sheen. The slide's been reinforced, and the interlock with the frame is tightened for added precision. The sight system is original too. The thumb safety is extended to make it easier on the finger. A long type trigger with non-slip grooves. A ring hammer. The base of the trigger guard's been filed down for a higher grip. And not only that, nearly every part of this gun has been expertly crafted and customized.
It even has a watermark. See who gets that reference.
Where'd you get something like this?
I grabbed it from a Western munitions armory. It probably used to belong to one of your officers, and there are more where that came from.
Honestly, when I see Snake
You had this with you.
fangirling over a damn gun, reminds me of one of my friends, actually. He's a gun
Better take
enthusiast.
this too.
What's that?
And she gives us a free scientist uniform, so we can disguise as a scientist. I love seeing Snake disguised as a scientist because it's the least convincing scientist disguise.
At the lab, they've got a whole army of scientists there developing new weapons. Security is tight, but if you disguise yourself as a scientist, you might be able to sneak in.
Like, it's so unconvincing that even in the disguise you can still be spotted.
We'll see, won't we?
Tell me how to get to the lab.
The safest way in is from the rear. First, you'll need to head north through the jungle. You'll come to a heliport used for shipping materials. Pass the heliport and continue north, and there will be a large crevice. Descend into that area, and you'll reach a cave. Move through the cave, and you will arrive at a mangrove swamp. After the swamp, there'll be a warehouse. Make your way through the warehouse, and you'll come out just south of the lab.
Got it.
And just what are you doing there?
In close-range combat, a knife can sometimes be more useful than a gun. By doing this, I'll be able to hold a knife at the same time and still keep the gun steady.
Like I said, knife gun.
Instantly switch between a gun battle and a knife fight.
The only thing more powerful is Dangeresque's nunchuck pistol.
Right, let's get going.
Wait a minute.
What now?
But that is a topic for another stream.
Take a little rest.
I'll be fine.
You'll never make it in your condition. It's a jungle out there.
Literally.
There's still an hour before dawn. It's dangerous to be out in the jungle at night without a guide.
It's dangerous to go alone. Take this.
I have to get back.
Right.
I can't be gone for too long. They'll start to suspect something. Don't worry. I'll keep you updated over the radio.
That's it?
My orders are to provide you with information. Nothing more. You look disappointed. All right, then. I'll do something special for you.
Special, you say, huh? Ooh,
I'll stand watch until dawn. Now be a good
Aww.
boy.
Damn it!
What's the matter?
I don't know you well enough to trust you.
How well do you have to know me to trust me?
I don't know if I can trust anybody.
Gonna get that?
She's right, Snake. You should get some sleep. Although in your condition, you really ought to be back in the ICU. Whenever you save the game and quit, you'll go to sleep. Sleeping allows you to gain back stamina naturally. Depending on how long you sleep, you may also...
Canon explanation for how saving your game works.
Tired or hurt, all you have to do is just get some sleep. So do yourself a favor and take a nap. Doctor's orders, okay?
Yeah, okay.
Oh, and the reason paramedic is called para-medic is because the paramedics as, like, as an institution of medical treatment did not exist in 1964. She calls herself paramedic as a mix between medic and paratrooper, and she goes on to found the U.S. Paramedics Emergency Response Service.
Nice. No, don't want to put you up there. Just want.
Come on, you can do it. Save. You can do it. I know this is ass-old hardware. I'm sure she wasn't doing anything sussy-wussy there. 6.5 hours later.
Oh my.
Expected sunshine, not a full moon. Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba.
What's the matter?
We're surrounded. I see 4 of them.
We've got company. It's the Ocelot unit. Let's get out of here. Hurry. Don't forget your gear. Here, give me a hand. We can use this to get to the basement.
Oh boy, it's him!
I'll get past them on my bike. I'll call you later.
Okay, I'll keep them busy. Huh?
Don't go dying on me now.
I just realized something. Since we're getting a remake of Metal Gear Solid 3, that means we get to see Eva and all of her booba glory in 4K with modern graphics. I'm suddenly happy to be alive.
I see him!
Oh boy, a mine detector! I guess you could say that mine detector is mine now.
God damn it. Mine.
You were thinking Finding Nemo. I, on the other hand, was thinking Vegeta from Dragon Ball Z Abridged.
I see him!
Okay, I better treat my wounds while I'm here. Gunshot wound. Okay, gotta pull out the bullet. Oh boy, we're busting! Okay. Now it's a proper Arikado stream. Thank you. You getting sleepy there, mate? Are you becoming a sleepo-beepo? We're gonna end soon,
yes.
don't worry. You know, we've just about, we're just about at a good stopping point. You had to since I was busting caps. Hey! There he is. Get back here, you. There we go. The Ocelot unit has been dealt with. And it took me way less deaths than last time. As in none.
Nice.
I've been waiting for this moment. That's it. That's the stance. I don't think so. What?
Ocelot, you can't just go grabbing titty like that, my dude. Like, that first of all, that is very rude.
Perfume.
That is rude, to say the least.
Stay where you are. I've had enough of your judo.
I see you've got yourself a single-action army.
That's right. There'll be no accidents this time.
You call that an accident? Well, it wouldn't have happened if you hadn't been showing off.
What did you say?
It's a nice gun, I'll give you that. But the engraving gives you no tactical advantage whatsoever.
Fucking Snake first told him, like, get a revolver. They's like, nice revolver, too bad it's shit, though.
Very basic thing. You don't have what it takes to kill me.
Like, first time they meet, he berates him for not having a revolver, despite using a shooting style that's more suited for revolvers. Second time when he has a revolver, he's like, hey, that's a nice revolver, too bad you suck. Ocelot we need a running tally for how many times Ocelot gets jobbed in this game. You ever see someone uppercut someone with a fucking motorcycle?
Ooh, it's got a height.
Like, god damn!
6 shots. That thing only carries 6 shots. The Makarov carries 8. You have to get a feel for how many you have left. This is a high-class weapon. It's not meant for shooting people.
Damn!
He put it in backwards. Like, I love Ocelot in this game. He is such a dork.
Don't.
Why?
He's still young.
You'll regret stopping me.
I'm sure he does.
I've got to get there before he does.
Ah, yes, the stealthiest way to go through the jungle. On a motorcycle. Also, I just saw Proto Rage in the chat say, I've been waiting for this moment for all my life. Oh, Lord. Dun-dun. I've been listening to, it's funny you say that, specifically you, Proto Rage, because I've been listening to the Proto Men's cover-up album a lot lately. And honestly, their cover of In the Air Tonight, I like it better than the original. It has a much more full sound to it. Which, you know, having a band with 8 people in it will do that. Same thing with their cover of Mr. Roboto. And their entire Queen cover album.
Oh, jeez.
Alright, first things first, we gotta introduce Sigint.
Yo, you're Snake, aren't you?
And you're Sigint?
None other.
I heard that you're an expert on weapons, equipment, and cutting-edge technology.
Close.
Huh?
I am the expert on weapons, equipment, and cutting-edge technology.
I like Sigint.
I'm the guy that designed your trank gun, active sonar, and motion detector. If you want to know anything about weapons or equipment you find in the field...
That Queen album was great. Yeah, I can only imagine being there at that performance. Like, holy shit, that is a once-in-a-lifetime moment. Alright, the only other things I'm going to show you here before I save are, that SIGINT gives you, like, a little breakdown of, all of your equipment, depending on what you have equipped at the time. So, unequip that, equip the cardboard box, and we get a funny conversation with him.
Hey, Snake, remember back at the abandoned factory when you whittled the grip of that
After this.
Yeah.
Because some of this is story-based.
Why the grip?
Yeah.
To fit it with a knife.
A knife?
Knife gun, knife gun. I'm telling you, it is a weapon to surpass Metal Gear.
Sometimes a knife works better in close proximity encounters. So I equip both at the same time. That way I can switch back and forth in an instant.
Badass. So that's that.
CQC.
Sounds like the Cobra unit's members' names came from the specific emotions they each carry into battle.
Come on, I want to hear him talk about the cardboard box.
Yeah. For unbearable torment, the pain. For true oblivion, the end. For infinite rage, the fury. For absolute terror, the fear. And for unsurpassed bliss, the joy.
The Joy is what the boss's codename was in World War II before she became the boss.
Because of the joy she feels in battle, I suppose. During the war, she had a partner named the Sorrow. Sorrow and joy. They say there couldn't have been a more perfect pair. Snake, you said Eva said her Mauser was a Type 17, right?
Yeah, what about it?
That model was produced in the 1920s in a weapons lab in the Shaanxi province in China. The cartridge part sticks out lower than the original.
This is not just neat gun facts. This is actually something you should keep in mind.
A little bit thicker too. But most telling of all, it's got Chinese characters engraved on both sides of the frame like you saw. And that firing stance Eva was talking about where you hold the gun horizontally, that's a trademark of the Chinese. Just like you were saying, when you're firing in full auto mode, the muzzle jump effect gives you a horizontal strafing motion. They say it's especially deadly in indoor and close-range mop-up actions. The Japanese called it bandit shooting and used to dread it. Makes you wonder where she learned to shoot like that. You know that army motorcycle that Eva was riding? That's a replica of a German model.
A replica?
Yeah. After World War II, the Soviets confiscated an entire assembly line from a German motorcycle factory, machines and all.
And then they took it back with them and started producing replicas?
Exactly. Originally, that motorcycle was designed to be used with a sidecar attached. That means it's got enough power to drag a 200-plus pound sidecar around.
So that's how she could pull off all those crazy stunts.
Uh-huh. Of course, it takes a lot of skill to be able to control that much power. That Eva chick is something else.
Come on, talk about the cardboard box.
The Davy Crockett's that the
I don't care about the Davy Crockett's.
Snake.
Here we go.
What are you doing?
I'm in a box.
A cardboard box? Why are you...
I don't know. I was just looking at it, and suddenly I got this irresistible urge to get inside. No, not just an urge. More than that. It was my destiny to be here. In the box.
Destiny?
Yeah. And then when I put it on, I suddenly got this feeling of inner peace. I can't put it into words. I feel safe. Like this is where I was meant to be. Like I'd found the key to true happiness.
Uh-huh.
Does any of that make sense?
Not even a little.
You should come inside the box. Then you'll know what I mean.
No, thank you.
Man, I don't want to know what you mean. Between you and paramedic, is everyone but me that is hooked up with a Major Strange? Yeah, well, anyway, I suppose even that dumbass box might make a decent disguise if you wear it inside a building.
Living in a box. I'm surprised that you know living in a box. Holy shit, that's not a reference I was expecting.
Saving a game, Snake?
Aw, kittens. And I still haven't seen AMV Hell, believe it or not. But yeah, I hope if you were here for like the Eva bits, Shiva, I hope you enjoyed the gratuitous fan service from her. And then you get get to imagine what she's going to look like in the remake with modern graphics.
Yeah.
Also, fun fact, we don't know who voiced Eva.
Huh.
She's credited as Suzette Minier, but David Hayter has gone on record saying Suzette Minier was a pseudonym.
Hey, Snake, you ever heard of Godzilla, King of Monsters?
This is the moment I fell in love with
It's a
Paramedic.
movie. You haven't seen it?
Nope.
It's about this monster called Godzilla, who grows to an enormous size in a nuclear test and goes on a rampage in Tokyo.
Nuclear test, huh? Then the Marshall Islands must be crawling with giant monsters right about now.
It's just make-believe.
Maybe that's why my pants have been so tight lately.
Snake, it's a movie, not a report out of Los Alamos.
I know. So then what happened?
Godzilla is immune to all weapons, and humanity has no way to stop the monster. Dr. Shirazawa develops a new type of weapon, but meanwhile, Godzilla is getting closer and closer to Tokyo, obliterating everything in its path. It was originally a Japanese movie, but they made an American version, too. I recommend seeing the original Japanese.
You missed the fan service because of the kittens? You can see it on the VOD tomorrow.
Fun, but it's also got a serious anti-nuke message as well.
So, yeah, there's a reason to go check out my VODs channel.
You'll just have to go to Japan.
Arikado Archives is what it's called.
That's too bad.
Well, if you wait for
I'm also planning on uploading stream clips to my main channel from now on.
2004 will be Godzilla's 50th birthday.
You think they're still going to be making...
This game was originally released in 2004, so that's why she brings it up.
Godzilla.
You sure know a lot about movies.
I don't suppose you're the movie-watching type, are you?
Not really.
Okay, then I'll tell you everything I know. When the going gets tough, movies can save your life. It's always good to be able to look at things from a different perspective when you get in a jam. That's the magic of movies.
No kidding. Well, I guess it might at least make a nice distraction.
That's the spirit, Snake. Have a little fun.
I love Paramedic solely because she loves Godzilla. That's all it takes. And with that, yeah, I can upload shorter clips as YouTube Shorts, but you have to do that in that stupid vertical aspect ratio, and I don't know how to do that. There's like an auto setting on Twitch for it, but with the way my stream layout is, it would just show like the center of the screen, and I wouldn't be visible. I really need to get an editor to do these things for me, but I don't have money. But yeah, that is going to be it for tonight. Thanks everyone for joining me for my grand return. Oh, and Shiba, if you're I brought this up earlier on stream. If you're feeling a little bit too daunted by drawing like all the cybernetic detail on those images I commissioned from you, I've got optional skin now, so you don't have to draw like all that techno-organic detail. I did that lore revision just to make art easier on you, because I know that there were a lot of details. There were a lot of details on the cyborg body. Yes, it's a synthetic flesh. And with that out of the way, thank you everyone for joining me. Let's see if I'm going to raid anybody tonight.
Orange is live.
Yeah, Orange is live with some Splatoon 3, so we shall raid her. She just recently had her 2.0 debut, so she's got a new model now.
Ooh.
Yeah, thank you everyone for joining me. I'm going to try and stream some other time this week. Don't know when. Until then, unpleasant dreams. Is it going to be green? It's not green.